you spoke about no one having the final word, no one individual having the final word. But do you not think that Rahul Gandhi, who clearly is very much the face of the party, the leader of the party,
he is the fountainhead of ideology in the Congress. I have no doubt in my mind about that.
Somebody I was speaking to who has actually known the family a long time, so I can't name that person, said Rahul Gandhi, maybe he wants to be the Jayaprakash Narayan of this time. But I don't know if that's accurate, because my question to you would be, you're heading into an election. There isn't that much time. It's a luxury to be philosophical when you're heading into an election, right? Is Rahul Gandhi the face of the opposition political campaign going into 2024? Whether you call him a prime ministerial candidate or not, I'm not getting into the technicality of that. But do you think he is that face?
But Barkha, let me just step back and ask you, where is he being philosophical?
I mean, we can't get into the philosophical question of JP or not. That's
and I think it's a false comparison. I think he holds on to his ideology and his beliefs very strongly. And I think that's one of the factors that made me join the Congress, quite frankly, because you look at a barrage of political leaders, whether in the opposition or in the ruling government, how many people are willing to pay a price for speaking the truth that he does? I mean, how many people are willing to look Mr. Modi in the eye and ask the questions that he does? He lost his membership, he lost his house, but that did not stop him from asking the questions. I mean, please, let's understand, here's a man who's walked 4,500 kilometers and maybe now more, perhaps in times to come, I don't know, because he believes that this will unite the country. And I think that one event did change India's politics. But I think to your larger question, is he going to be the face or not the face? He is definitely the ideological fountainhead of the Congress. I think our stand on issues, I think our stand on situations comes a lot from him. He's somebody who's unapologetic about what he stands for. He's absolutely fearless. And I think that's a virtue, that's a very rare virtue in politics. And he's not somebody who can ever, you can make a deal with or you can compromise with, and for a situation he's going to, here's someone who says that we did not do OBC reservation in women and we were wrong, but we need to correct a wrong now and we will correct it doubly. So I think for someone to say this in Indian politics today, it takes a lot of courage. Going into elections, the Congress is the largest party in that alliance. But we also believe that we have come together not because we want to project one person as the prime minister or others not. We have come together not to oppose Mr. Modi, but we have come together to ensure that India's constitution is held supreme, that the country as we know is protected, preserved. We have come together to ensure that democratic institutions are not compromised with. And I think on that, there is a broad consensus. I think issues like, who's going to be the face or not the face, for all practical purposes, every political party's leader is their face, and Rahul Gandhi is definitely one of our bigger faces.
Pratap Bhanu Mehta, who is certainly not a fan of the Modi government, and is in fact quite a fierce critic, had a column in the Indian Express recently saying that perhaps the gap in the opposition narrative is that it was not able to address what he called the age of ambition. He said this is the age of ambition in India. He was talking about the aspirational Indian. I remember Mr. Kamal Nath, who's now leading the campaign in Madhya Pradesh, saying something quite similar after the defeat in 2014. We have failed to, he said on behalf of the Congress, address the aspirational Indian. I want to ask you, when you speak about the ideological fountainhead that Mr. Gandhi is, how does the India Alliance today look for not just what you oppose, which is the politics of the BJP, but what you stand for that can address the aspirational Indian?
I'm glad you asked me this question. Let me just turn that argument on its head, actually. For the longest, this government has been saying that we have been giving free ration to 86 crore Indians or 80 crore Indians or whatever that number may be. Now, that may have been a very important step and a very important policy intervention when India was going through COVID. And thank God for the Food Security Act, you could do it. We have Mrs. Gandhi to thank for it and Dr. Manmohan Singh. But anyways, that narrative set apart. That was a narrative that worked when people needed that for sustenance. People today say sustenance is done. What about my success? And which is why when we talk about the caste census, or when we talk about we should know who stands where in this country, how many of SC, STs, OBCs are there. Why do you think we are doing this? We are doing this because aspirations of New Delhi alone don't matter. Aspirations for the rest of the country do. I mean, when Mr. Gandhi stands up in parliament and says that the highest posting for a bureaucrat is to become a secretary in the government of India, and there are 90 such secretaries, only 3 OBCs, but the numbers are startling. I mean, you look at the Bihar caste survey that has come, 64% OBCs. What's their representation? Forget about that. Look at central universities. The central universities have today an IIT between SC, ST and OBC together has 9% of its faculty. IIMs have 6% of their faculty. Are you telling me they're children of lesser God and they don't have the mental faculties to be there? Absolutely they do. I think they've been denied opportunities, and which is where aspiration also comes from. Aspiration is not confined to the English-speaking, influential New Delhi crowd. I think aspiration comes from rural hinterland India. When Mr. Gandhi was walking in the Bharat Jodo Yatra, the kind of people we met, old, young, poor, rich, small businesses, large businesses, they had one thing to say, that we have aspirations to be heard. Who's hearing us? So I think aspiration also has a very different meaning for people. For somebody, it could be aspirational that his voice or her voice is be heard. You know, the kind of interactions he's had after meeting truck drivers. Why do you think he's meeting truck drivers? I mean, he's not a photo op guy. He's meeting truck drivers because he believes that they have aspirations which are not being met. A mechanic in Delhi, why is he meeting them? Why do you think he's meeting students in Mukherjee Nagar who are preparing for civil services? Because you have to first listen to people to be able to address their aspirations.